Hey, what's up you guys? John from Old Running Farm here, and in today's video it's going to be one of those ones where I blabber, so grab a cup of coffee or adult beverage, take a load off, and let's get started. So we're standing here outside of our big house. So if you don't know, when we first bought this property, the plan was, because there are two houses on it, so the plan was that my parents were going to live in this big one and fix it up and make it nice, and we were going to live in the small one, and then we'd sort of, have the family farm from there. What ended up happening is, so we purchased this property, and there was another property across the way that was under contract, but when they saw that this property sold, they pulled out because they figured that we were a developer and we were going to level this whole place, and they didn't want to deal with that. And at that same time, we were doing the inspections on this house, and it's really old. Both places have been vacant for 8 years. We did a septic test on this one. The septic system was no good, so it was going to need a new one. $40,000. Who knows what the plumbing was. There was all these things that needed to get fixed. These are all single pane windows, so there was a lot that needed to go into here. But when that property opened up, it was much more turnkey for my parents, which was just better. It was easier for them to make it their own, but they could move right in and start doing work on it. So they ended up purchasing that property. And I think that ended up better for everybody. We all have more privacy. They can still come over every morning and give the dogs their treats. The dogs look forward to that bigly. But that sort of left us with, the hell do we do with this house? So one of the thoughts that we had was, let's make this into a farm stay, like an Airbnb where you could wake up and see alpacas out your window while you're having breakfast. And I think, maybe long term that's still a thing, but we'll see. The problem with that is that this house needs so much work. So like I said, it needs a new septic system. Who knows what shape the plumbing is in? Who knows what shape the electrical is in? Obviously, it needs new siding. It needs new windows if we're going to ever heat this efficiently. Pretty sure the roof leaks. There's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, we're like what you've just said is $200,000 plus.
At least,
yeah.
Especially these days.
Right.
So I don't know that that's really feasible for us to do. I mean, the amount of money that we'd need to put into this house to just start doing that would be so much, and then we'd be in such a deep hole, it would take so long to pull out of it. I think it's a nice idea. I think it would be cool to have that, but I'm not sure that that's going to be the best idea for us going forward. So what the hell do we do with this big ass house? So obviously, this has become a little bit of a storage barn. Apparently this used to be a barn way back in the day. I don't really believe it, but we had our alpacas right outside there for a long time, and we needed a place to store small square bales, and this fit the bill. We also have my mother-in-law moving up here soon, so we store some of her stuff. We have some of our bee equipment, maple syrup equipment, whole bunch of stuff. But anyway, this is what the inside looks like. And I forget if we did in our original video a tour of this place.
Yeah, we did.
First bought it.
I did.
So if you're interested in seeing that whole thing, we have a video where we gave the tour of the whole house. One thing we could do is use this for immersion therapy for people who are allergic to hay. I can just feel it in my nose. But so I think what we're going to try to do, and we're still working out the numbers, is I think we're going to try to turn this into a fiber mill. And the reason we're doing that is because we were in an absolute panic earlier this year when we got our alpaca shorn. And, last year we had such success with all of these winter, craft fairs where we sold our hats that Kat made. And it was a great success, and so we signed up for a bunch more. Granted, it's 4 of them, but we have a couple of 2-day events, and, we found out as soon as our alpacas got shorn that our current fiber mill, which is in town, is moving. And she was also on a 9-month, 10-month backlog, so we wouldn't have gotten our fiber until next February. So that was a problem. We contacted a bunch of other mills. Catherine even took all of our fiber and went up to one mill, and they basically rejected all of it in a very condescending way, which was not appreciated.
Yeah, I cried on the way home.
Yeah, so that was not very nice. And Catherine ended up finding this place that was in, I think, Idaho or Iowa, one of those two places, one of those I states in the Midwest. And they took our yarn, and they actually called us and they said it was very nice, and like they're going to work with it. They're going to do a couple of blends for things that have, you know, shorter fibers, and they have a much shorter turnaround time. But even still, so we are sinking money into alpaca fiber processing every year, on top of sinking money into the alpacas themselves, and everything is just getting more and more expensive. And with these turnaround times, you know, we're finding that next year we're going to have to not do any craft fairs just so we can have our fiber processed so that we can catch up for the next year, which is not like a great way to do business, to just kind of like, you know, cancel an entire year of profit just to go forward. So we started looking into fiber processing equipment. And even though it's way more expensive than just having our alpaca fiber processed, going forward, if we're able to process fiber for other people, and I think based on the amount of time that fiber mills are backed up by, there's definitely a market for it. So, you know, if we start and we get the machinery that we need to process our own fiber, we can, you know, take the time and practice and make sure we get this perfected with our fiber, and then we can start processing fiber for other people and hopefully paying down that machinery as we go. So just so you have a frame of reference, this whole bag is the remainder of our seconds that we got processed last year. This fiber we dropped off in December of 2021, and we got back at the end of May, early June in 2022. So 7 months to process this much fiber. And so, I mean, there's probably 40 skeins in here, something like that. And if we sold all of those for 20 bucks, that might, you know, just counteract the cost of processing the fiber. And that's not making any profit on that. But that also doesn't count, like, feeding all of the alpacas, the hay for all of the alpacas, all the work that we've done on the pasture and all that. So it's very expensive to process this fiber, and it's also very expensive to have alpacas. So even though it would be a big capital investment in our farm to get this fiber mill equipment, I mean, it's sort of like, imagine another tractor, maybe a little bit more than another tractor. But then you think about like what the tractor has done for us and enabled us to do, and this fiber processing equipment, if we're able to get it, would hopefully just start making us money at some point.
I mean,
Doesn't even look good.
it doesn't?
Oh, it's just all falling apart.
Oh, I think it looks nice.
So I'm no expert, but I've done a lot of research, and from what I understand, there's 4 steps to processing alpaca fiber: washing, picking, carding, and spinning. So there's basically what?
That's 4. I was just checking.
Yeah.
Checking your math.
So there's, you know, 4 pieces of equipment that we would quote unquote need. I think for the time being, we could probably wash our own alpaca fiber, like either in a tub or in the washer. So we have a way to wash it ourselves. But then when it comes to picking and carding, you know, you really need some pieces of equipment for that. So I found this company that's in Oregon called Brother Drum Carder, and I've spoken to them a couple times. They, you know, everything is manufactured right on site, so it's nice that it's made in America. And so we can get the picker and the carder that'll give us some nice continuous roving from them. But then the problem is getting a spinner, because we could get like a singular spinning wheel, but, you know, long term, even short term, that's not a real great solution. So from what I've found, there's really only 2 options for spinners. There's a place called Belfast Mini Mills that's in Canada, but apparently a lot of people are having a hard time getting a hold of them. And then there's also a company called Ramella that's in Italy, and they're in Italy. So we will have to see what we're gonna do here, and maybe, you know, this coming week I'll try to get in touch with somebody from Ramella, get a price on their spinners, because I've tried contacting Belfast through the phone, but I can't get through. Sent them a couple emails. I even sent them a messenger on Facebook. So hopefully we can find that, and then you know, we'll have to see if we can prep our big house to make our own fiber mill, and then a couple years down the road, hopefully we can be, you know, expert fiber millers. And then, you know, maybe that's a way that I can, you know, be working here full time. Maybe even both of us are working here full time. We'll have to see. But lots of stuff going on. Thank you guys very much for watching this video. We really appreciate it. Please give us a like, leave us a comment, let us know what you think, and as always, thanks for stopping by.
Bye.
Get it, Cinnamon.